Hey, hello, Emmanuel.
Hi. Where is my
How are you
screen?
doing this month?
I am doing okay.
Good. I was in another like link. I was using another link. I don't know. Maybe there is a mistake in the website DevX. The new calendar
Oh,
because here using a different like link.
maybe we might want to look at it later.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give a few minutes for people to join, then we can start. Okay, I think we can start. So yeah, hi guys, welcome to today's working group session. If it's your first time joining, so this is a working group session hosted by developer advocates at Intersect. Intersect is the member-based organization that is in charge of nurturing the Cardano ecosystem. So yeah, our main role is to just talk to developers, make sure they have all the resources they need to start building, both building and contributing to Cardano. So the main purpose of this call is just to try and lay out a plan or tell you how to start building on Cardano, see if we can help you figure your way around. So that's the main aim of this call. And to help us do that, we have a guest, a builder who has been there for more than 3 years in Cardano. They'll sort of give us an overview of how they've built. They'll introduce themselves. He will introduce himself, tell us what he does, and basically just talk to us on how we can figure out building in Cardano. So yeah, we have Dan. Dan is the guest builder for today. He's also a developer advocate at Intersect. So I'll let him introduce himself to begin with. So welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Thank you, everyone, and hope you guys doing well. As Emmanuel said, my name is Dan Baruka, and I am a co-founder of Up-to-Date Developers. Before that, I'm a software engineer, core blockchain developer, and a Cardano ambassador. Now, a developer advocate as well at Intersect. I joined the ecosystem Cardano in 2020, yes. So in the past 5 years, because I believed in blockchain and yeah, its community. Yeah, I think in short that's my background and the full presentation of, yeah. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you very much, Dan. So you've told us you joined back in 2020. So if someone is just joining Cardano and they want to figure out how to start building, what are some of the pointers that you can give them on how they should start building or contributing to Cardano?
Yeah, I think building in a Web3 ecosystem is quite easier than in the Web3 ecosystem. Since I joined the Web3, I can say the development and building became like very easy for me. So the best way to approach building on Cardano, whether you are a developer or an entrepreneur, is to start with a real problem, not the technology. Most of people like try to solve try first to choose the technology before looking for a real problem. So the first step is to look for a real problem. Then after maybe choosing a technology, but understanding the user's need, validate their need, and make sure the blockchain is the right solution. So you can see that the next step after finding the problem, then you can try to understand if the blockchain can fix or the blockchain is the right solution to that problem. And once the problem is clear, as a developer, developer focuses on choosing right tools. When we are talking about tools, we can like we are not focusing on only in Web3 tools. We can even mix Web2 and Web3. Most of project mixes the two parts, the Web2 and the Web3, to make sure that there is no a big gap between users who usually use the Web3 platforms and the Web3 platforms. So the next step will be to choose the right tools, like maybe Bluetooth or ICANN, or languages like TypeScript or any type. It depends on the project you are trying to work on it. And the next step will be to test. that I think the very, very important step for builders. You need to test small. When I'm saying small, is very, very small. The basic feature you can have in your project will be the best version to be tested. And next, you need to think about sustainability, build business models, and user adoptions. Yeah, those steps comes after you already have the problem. You choose the right tools. You test the first version, the MVP. Mostly, the MVP gives you an overview of how or if the project is or if the problem is real. Because when you are testing, you can say, okay, guys, in your team, you can say, okay, this time I think we need to change a little bit the way we are building this tool, because people are not using it. Even if you only have 10 users, even if you have only 20 users, you can directly understand if the project is fits if the problem if the solution fits the problem directly from those testers. I think that's how you can approach building on Cardano.
So you've mentioned a few things, but I'll just maybe start with this. So what inspired your first project on Cardano? What drove you to say that this is the right idea for Cardano at the moment, or this is the right idea for what I want? So what inspired your first project in Cardano?
So yeah, good question. And I usually say Cardano is one of the best community I ever had. For real, I'm not doing a marketing for Cardano. Cardano shows me that everyone can build on Cardano. That was the main thing I was saying. Yeah, before coming Cardano, I'm a co-founder of Up to Date Developers. I was building projects for companies and for other communities, but not really for myself or my own company. But when I get into Cardano ecosystem, I find and realize that everyone can build and solve a problem. That was the first step. The next one was it's easier to communicate, collaborate, and you can get people involved in your project without doing main effort. So people can help you without even asking something back. The third one will be I wanted to solve something real. When we are talking about problems, I found that when we are talking about problem, I realized that in Africa we have a big problem, which was money transfer. So when you are out of your country, if you are inside the country, you can't feel it. You can't really feel it. You can feel that there is a real problem with transactions out of country or out of continent to in continent, mostly in Africa. So my main focus was how can we fix those problems. The first one was the high fee. For example, let me just give you a real example. One day I made a transaction from out of Africa to Africa. No, it was from Africa to out of Africa because I wanted to invest on something. And for a very simple transaction, I paid $350 for something like $350 to only do one simple transaction. That was the first problem. And since 2020 to even today, if you try to do a very huge transaction, you'll pay a lot of money. The second one was the delay. The delay is a very big problem again. When we are doing a transaction, it can take up to 5 days, five business days. When we are talking about 5 business days, so if you made a transaction, for example, Thursday, you'll get money maybe Tuesday next week. So you imagine if if there was an emergency and I want to get that money today, That's a very big problem. And that's what's happening every time in Africa. We just find it like something normal, but it's not normal. And the last one was the way people are using bank account. Most of people in Africa doesn't really have bank account, and they don't even trust. I was not trusting. Maybe when I enter in the business, when I created my account, my company, I find that bank maybe is quite important to get to receive a huge amount of money in at once. That's when I started use bank account, but I was not trusting bank account. I was like, when I receive my money, I wanted to have it in my phone, mobile money. And in Africa, most of people trust mobile money. That was the third thing. So combining those problems, I created ADAX. ADAX, which help users to convert and to, I can say, try to solve the three problems at once. So you get your money directly. You the fee, even if you are trying to send like 50,000 US dollar, you can like pay only 3%, even less than that sometimes. So, and again, one last thing was mostly the way it interacts with users. So you receive money directly in your mobile account. That's what I did when I started. And yes, the project is live. We had few problems. And as I was saying, you need to start, test the model. We got real problems. And now we are trying to fix and to grow. Thanks, Emmanuel. Back to you.
Yeah, so that's very good. You've mentioned ADAX, which is the exchange platform from changing to crypto to USD. And I would like to know, what are some of the ways that you onboarded user to your project, or maybe what are some of the ways you're trying to get your product to market? Because it seems it's focused on the African space. So how are you approaching people and asking them to use your product, or how are you letting them know that this will solve some of the problems you're doing? Because as a builder, I would imagine once you have a project or an idea you want to solve, you still have to do the work to get this to people's hands. So how are you approaching that?
Yeah, for edX especially, it was not easy to get users because we are talking about money. And when it comes for money, people doesn't really trust very easily. Again, we are in the Web3 ecosystem, so people trust very easily than in the Web2 ecosystem. So the first thing is to present your project very clearly to users, very clearly and simple words, like saying, this is for this, we do this and that. Only to be very, very clear and consistently, like you just need to use simple words. So communication first. Then the second, you need to like share progress. Share progress, share every single progress, share everything updates, share everything changes. When you are sharing more information and more details, people trust you and join you. Then again, you need to have many ways of discussing with people, with community, and stay. How can I say? You need to be available to the community. You need to be available to discuss. You need to be available to give more details, more information to communities members, even one-to-one, even Twitter Spaces, even we have a Discord. So when they have problems, you need to be there. Again, I was talking about transparency. You need to be transparent on transaction fee. You need to be transparent on parameters in the project. So they need to trust you before they get involved. And again, the last one will be to create opportunities. Creating opportunities around project is one of the force of Web3 project. Most of Web3 project has opportunity around project. So what you do is to like say, guys, if you are in, you'll get this. If you are in, for example, we have IX token, which will be distributed maybe next year, which is a token of edX. So there, as long as you are participating by using the platform, you get some point, and we know our users. We'll say, okay, guys, if you we communicate very clearly that if you are using our platform, you'll get some IX token, and that IX token in the next in the upcoming years, you'll maybe use it to like pay your transaction fee. Instead of paying with ADA, you'll pay with IX token, and that's one of the opportunities. You can also onboard ambassadors. You can create an ambassador program. We have one for edX. We have 5 ambassadors. The role of ambassadors is to onboard new developers, new users, new members in the ecosystem and around the project. I think that's how you can grow and get more people engaged around your project.
Nice, thank you very much. So there is, well, most builders join an ecosystem because there is a chance that they would get grants to maybe build projects and whatnot. Have you applied for any grants, and how did you discover these opportunities to maybe get funding for some of the things that you've built?
Yeah, yes, of course. I started the project without applying on anything. I usually say, yeah, we have many opportunities in Cardano, and everyone can get found. But again, even if we are talking about Web3 communities, we need to understand that you can't only get money very easily. We know that it's very difficult for Web2 to get investors and to get found on their project. But in Web3, it's very easy, but you need to prove, okay? So how I did it, I started the project, I communicate around in the communities saying that I'm trying to solve this problem. I don't have enough money. Yes, of course. I request a call in the ambassador call. I have a lot of friends there. So you need to use your community, your friends, your people around you. I request a call with Cardano Foundation, but it was not successful. Then the last one was Project Catalyst. Project Catalyst, I tried, found I think found 9 and found 10. Yes, found 9 and 10. I was not getting any found from those 2 founding rounds. Then they found 11. I got founded. Yes, and yeah, you can see that when I was requesting found, I was not stopping saying, okay, I'm still waiting for found. I was working on project, and yeah, again, I received more than 100,000 ADA for the project. And you can imagine how difficult it can be for Web2 project to get such amount. But it was very easier when you now like have a community, you clearly explain your project, you clearly show the problem you're trying to solve. And then again, when the community trusts your project and they say, okay, we can trust this guy, we can trust this project, they will vote on your project. That's how Project Catalyst works. Project Catalyst is the biggest source of funding in the Cardano ecosystem. Most of projects get funding, get founded in the Project Catalyst. It's simple. You just need to clearly present your project and gives more details about your project. And if people trust your project and they understand that you are able to build that project, and it's for the you'll give back to the community, they will vote on your project, and then you'll get funded from Project Catalyst. We also have Intersect grant. We also have ecosystem grant and program. We have a Cardano Foundation entrepreneur, or I think something like builders grant or something like that. So you just need to do a research, and in the Web3 ecosystem, again, it's not, they don't need you as a person, they need the project. So if you are very clear, even if you are coming from, I don't know, a village, if you have a good project, if you have, you are trying to solve a good problem and you get back, you give back to the community, they will give you something. They will give you money.
Nice, thank you very much. So in your 5 years experience building on Cardano, what are some of the things you wish you knew before you got into the space, or before you started building a particular project? What are some of the challenges that you faced that you think you would approach things differently?
Yeah. First of all, I'm a UI UX developer. So let me come back to that. I want to do things like, I want to make sure my project is perfect. Most of project I'm building, I don't know if you guys already see edX, for example, or the one I showed you, Emmanuel, yesterday. But I want to make the project very perfect. That's the very first problem I'm facing. Even today, I'm trying to fix it and to see if I can change that way. But the problem is people who want to have a perfect project doesn't have a good project. Why am I saying that? When you are trying to build a perfect project and putting all ideas you have in a project, you'll take a lot of time. You can take even 5 years working on a project. But for me today, I know that if I want a very good project, I need to just take 1 month, test the project. If it's a good project, I'll know from that 1 month. Why am I saying that? Because when you are taking 5 years and you now realize that the project is not that a good idea, it doesn't really solve a good problem, you'll spend the 5 years working on something which is not good. But if I just work on a project, a very, very MVP, 1 month maximum, or maybe 2 months, or maximum 3 months, saying, okay, I'm just implementing the basic feature, which will show what I'm trying to solve, and put it online, call people to test, join, try to see if the problem is real, and then you'll get feedback. That's the perfect way to work on projects. And that the first challenge, I mean, many builders are, one of the most mistake many builders are doing. And those who knows how to do so, or how to do that way, like starting small, they get more feedback, they build a good project, and they get more, I think they grow fast. And the second mistake will be that one I understand that mistake maybe 3 years ago, was to think about technology instead of user need. So okay, I'm saying, okay, I want to implement for example ZK technology. I want to implement that one, but the problem is not the ZK, for example. So many people choose technologies before focusing on real users' needs and problem. That's the mistake many people are doing. And when it comes even for us, the architecture of the project, again, you don't need to focusing on what you know. You need to be flexible and to understand how you can, maybe, for example, my problem was, the real problem was not transaction fee, for example, but was to not use a web app, instead of only using a mobile app. The problem is not maybe transaction fee, but people doesn't use bank account because bank account doesn't have a mobile application. For example, maybe you see that those two problems are not the same. That's why I'm saying you need to first understand the problem. So maybe you can spend even 2 months researching and maybe sending some survey saying, do you think this is a problem? Do you think the problem is not this one? Or if we do this, what do you think? So when you get more information about the problem itself, you say, okay, now we understand that the problem is not this one, but this one. And again, after that, you now focusing on which technology match the solution. Yeah, that's it. Those are the two main mistakes I made. But again, the list is quite long. I just highlight the two mistakes.
Nice, thank you very much, Dan, for all that you've given us today. So the last question I would like to know from you, or the last thing I would want you to maybe let us know is, what's one message you'd tell people, new people coming to build on Cardano? What would you advise them?
Yeah. Okay. On Cardano, I can say people who succeed are not the one who knows everything. Mostly are not the one who knows everything. I mean, but the one who takes the first step. First step. I knew people who I trained many people in Cardano, and few of them get started at the same time when we were learning. Like he was learning by doing. Okay, I just want to do something. First step, learning. You need to always learning. Always. I'm maybe in Cardano since 2020, but even today, learning every single day. Every single day. That is not only for Cardano, it's for everyone who wants to grow. You need to learn every day. Every day you need to understand what was the changes, what the new, maybe even not going in documentation, only Twitter saying what's happening today in Cardano. So I need to understand what was the changes from maybe last month to today. And again, collaboration. Collaborate is something, again, not only for Cardano. When you're collaborating, you get more. Not feedback. I mean, when you're collaborating, you have more like, how can I say it? For example, I just go with an example. And sorry again for my English. Sometimes it's block. I'm mostly French speaker. So when I'm saying collaboration, I mean that if I'm working with Emmanuel, for example, I'll come with my background of developer. Emmanuel will come with his background of builder, or I don't know, business, for example. And together, if we have someone maybe who does well social media, we have a very good team. Instead of like saying, okay, I'm working myself in a project. So I usually call people in my project, say, okay, guys, I don't know that you are very good in like doing this. I'm not that good on that way. Can we work together and see how we can share? That's one of the good things. And again, that's internally. Publicly, you can collaborate with every single project. Collaboration doesn't have limits. You can collaborate with other projects. You can have partnerships. That gives you many things. Gives you visibility. Let your project get known. Many things you are getting from collaboration. And again, the last one maybe can be to keep evolving and improving. You need to keep improving your project. You need to keep improving what you are building. You need to now, like from the first step to what you really want, all the futures you had in your head from the very first step. Now at that step, you need to get involved. You need to get improving to get a good, very, very good project. Even Cardano, you know that Cardano is very, very big, but Cardano is still improving. So there is no limit for improvement. You need every day to improve, work on the project. So if you show up consistently and your idea grow, you'll get more scale. You'll understand your project and your community and your users. You'll get more feedback, and you will be successful in your project and on what you are really trying to build. I think that's what I can say for your question, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much, Dan. This has been wonderful. So now I guess we can just ask if there's anyone in the chat with a question. There is one for you in the chats here. Is there an affiliate program for AdaX? This is for you, Dan.
Yeah, we were trying to build that future, but again, we got a very big problem with our partner, which was the aggregator from UK. Now we stopped that future. We're focusing on fixing that issue, because that issue blocked the full project itself. So after fixing the KYB with our aggregator, we're now trying to implement. But yes, in our roadmap, we have that affiliation program for AdaX as well.
Nice, thank you very much. Any other question from the group? If maybe you're trying to build, you've found a blocker somewhere, we can have Dan sort of guide you. Any questions? Yes, Daisy.
Hi, Titi.
Hi.
It's a I hope this is okay. It's a small one. I did create wallet addresses, but then requested for a test for sex. But for some reason, the balance said, like, the perfect has a fiki. So how can I go about that?
Come again?
Yeah.
Nearly request the test for sets after running the node on Docker. After creating the wallet addresses. But for some reason, the balance is still 0.
Oh, yeah. So for when you set up the node, it takes sometimes to sync with other nodes so that it reaches the current tip of the blockchain. So if it's still syncing, the balance will still be 0 because it's reading from previous blocks. So the balance wouldn't register until the block where your transaction was accepted is reached. That's when the address will start reading the balance. So that's probably what's happening. If you copy that address and go and search on one of the explorers, you'll find that because they are at the current tip of the blockchain, so they probably have that balance. But for you, if it's still thinking, it hasn't reached the block in which your transaction was validated. So that's probably the issue you're facing.
Is it, can it check? Wow.
Yeah?
In a check more than a day?
Sometimes, yes, it depends. It depends with the hardware you have. For me, it takes about, it takes almost 12 hours to sync the whole blockchain, especially on mainnet. It takes some time, but you can check the status. There's when you see the logs of that service, you'll see at what percentage it is or at what epoch it has synced to. But yeah, the chances are that it's still syncing.
So thank you. I'll reach out in case of anything.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other question from the group?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Ben.
So my question is around smart contracts, and what's the best way to test smart contracts before actually deploying them onto the mainnet? Is it better to test this locally or on a test net? So which is the most flexible, or rather it will give you the most accurate results after will be there after you deploy this smart contract?
Yes, Dan.
Yeah, if you're using a pre-prod, I recommend you to have a local node in your local machine if you have capacity to have one node in your computer, because you need to do it very easily with CLI command instead of like using, for example, an API. Because if you're using an API, you need every time to host and test. But if you have a sync node locally, a pre-prod, for example, before you go in the mainnet, you can't like go in mainnet without testing the full smart contract in locally, I mean, in development environment. So we usually recommend to use local node. It's very easier for developers to test the smart contract itself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. Because the challenge I had was like, especially after making transactions, there are some not reflecting correctly, rather balances on the test accounts locally. So I had to like clear some cache on some of these wallets that I'm using for these testings. Yeah, so I thought it would be more seamless to maybe move over to something that's on pre-prod or something.
Yeah, mostly it's when maybe you switch off your computer and your node is not full sync, as Emmanuel just said. For example, you were working yesterday and everything was okay, and then today when you restart the computer, you are not full sync with the other block, the other nodes. Even when you are trying to test the smart contract, you can't get the good response. So always make sure that the node is full sync before doing anything, because you can even get something like error, which appear like error, which is not, because only you're not full sync. So I recommend you to just like, first of all, before you before you try to solve an issue in the smart contract, even anything else, you need to make sure that your node is full sync. And then if you are sure that you have node is full sync, you can test it with Koios, for example. Koios is a node hosted online. You can use the API directly. It's a really not a good node, and it's free. It's open to everyone. If you know it, use it. If you don't know it, let me know. I can just drop the link in the chat. It's a fully node which use the API. So yeah, it's also one of the way you can test your smart contract.
Yeah, I really appreciate the link.
Okay. So if you don't have even capacity to host the full node, the full testnet node, you can use Koios API. Sometimes I use it. Most of the projects we have, even at edX, we use Koios for testnet, like pre-prod and mainnet. Let me just yeah, okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I'll have a look.
Okay, nice. Any other questions? Okay, so I guess we have come to the end of this call. This call will be recorded and we will update our DevX website. Let me just share the link with you guys. We will update this call on one of the working group sessions. So if you missed it or you need to go back to what has been discussed with Dan, be sure to be on the lookout on that website. We'll post this call. The video will be there also, and just some documentations from the discussions we've had. So yeah, if you want to reach out to us, that is Dan's account. I'll also add mine so that you guys can ask questions if you have anything else that you want to discuss. Any questions, you can reach out to us. We're always willing to help you guys. If you're just starting on building, our work is to make sure you have a seamless experience. Be connected to the people that you need to connect to. We can help you facilitate those collaborations with existing partners in the ecosystem. So yeah, make sure you reach out to us. You can register to be an Intersect member. Once you're registered, you'll have access to our Discord channel where you can personally reach a lot of people in Intersect. So here's the link to Intersect. If you don't have an account, you can create one. And yeah, thanks for joining, guys. See you on the next one.
Thank you, Emmanuel. See you online.
See you online.